Alright guys, DBS Oz, we've got another deck profile for you. This time we have Golden Frieza, Ben's top 8 Oceanic regional deck. Before we get started, you want to have a chat about your website?
I run a website, District C, for Dragon Ball singles. Yeah.
And we're only in Australia at the moment though, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so only posting to Australia. Cool, I'll chuck the link in the comment as well. You want to have a chat about Golden Frieza set 1 deck? What does the leader do?
So on your unawakened side, you place a Frieza army to the drop area and you untap 1, draw 1. On the awakened side, same thing, but you untap 2. And on swing, you draw 1.
Need to draw 2 on the leader as well because it's an old leader.
Yep, it's pretty good.
Yep, sweet. Into the engine.
Alright, so what we have here, we got your basic Frieza army package. So 4, 4, and 4. Not much to say there.
Yeah, so literally so you can get your untap going.
Yep. So I run 3 Roshi for the awakening. You really want to awaken early. The reason I run 3, I will talk a bit more about that later.
Really hurts to get stalled out in this deck if someone keeps you above 4.
I run 4 Krillin suit combo. I don't really run the one off Zamasu.
Chi-Chi's another option as well, is it? Chi-Chi? No, what's the...
Chi-Lai.
Chi-Lai, because she's searchable off Sorbet as well, if you do run that.
Yeah. 4 Mecha Frieza Repose. Pretty good card. I run 3 Steadfast instead of 4. Just personal preference, I feel.
Should you see it enough at 3?
Yeah, 3 is enough. Most of the time I only resolve 1 or 2. So 3 is good for me. 2 Cooler. So, sometimes you struggle in charging. So sometimes you have to charge the Cooler. So having 2 is good.
Just getting your opponent down to 2 and being able to shotgun through a negate.
So for my Unisons, I run 2 Trunks and 2 Meki. I feel like that's a good enough ratio. I see enough. Draw quite a bit.
What situation would you play Trunks and where would you play Meki?
So most of the time, you play Trunks on your turn 3 if you have a Frieza army on board. So let's say turn 2, you negate with Mecha Frieza. So you can play this on turn 3 and still have energy for your opponent's turn. I would normally play Trunks when it's like versing, when I need to get rid of Unisons mostly. So it is really good to push on their Unison. Meki is more for control, slower games. I'll play this. Yeah.
And steal their stuff if it gets to that point?
Yeah. But most of the time it's whoever I see first.
Yep.
So boss monsters, I have 2 Freezers and 2 Dragon Fists. Similar reason to why I run 2 Mechis and 2 Trunks Unison. You draw so much, you end up seeing at least one of these. Dragon Fist is really good to finish out games. The Activate main really catches them off guard, and being able to pop 2 on play in rest mode is really good.
If you have the energy to pair that with a Cooler as well, they literally can't negate.
And this Frieza 5 drop, if you haven't read already, on play, KOs all rest mode cards, untap at the end of the turn, and the order once per turn. If your opponent activates a counter attack, choose 2 cards, switch it to rest mode, and they can't be untapped at the end until the end of their next turn. The good thing about this is you don't have to rest the card to keep cards stay rested.
So you can choose energy that's already down and stuff.
Yeah, so like I had a matchup against Red, Blue, Android 18. I had 2 of these up and I just constantly kept the red energy rested, so that was really good.
Trying to stop them from playing that Frieza 5 drop.
Yeah, get 2 Poutines.
It's yellow, yep.
Yellow. 2 block and negate. Sometimes really handy to awaken on 5 life. So there'll be often times where I play my Unison, I'll be on 5 life and they try and kill my Unison. I just put one of these out.
Do you think 2's enough or you'd up that to 3 ever?
2 I feel is good, because I don't want to see this too much. And when you play the blocker and they don't swing anymore, it really makes it hard for you to resolve the dispo that I play. Two of the new Realm of the Gods extra card. Pretty good card. On your turn, you get a KO anything rested, and on their turn, you get to tap 2 cards there and draw a card.
Yeah, so this is another combo piece for you. I remember you saying, apart from super combos, your hand you need everything. You don't really have spare combo power, so it's good to have these.
Yeah. This deck really struggles on combo power, so this really helps with the draw and if you have spare energy to use.
Yep.
So next are my one-offs. I play 1 Dispo. I was running 2 at the start, but I realized you don't actually resolve this that often. And most of the time you already have an established board. So the one-off is good when you need it.
Plus it's off color, so you can't charge it ever anyway.
Yeah. You have the 1 Bergamo because yellow, 1 Powered Super Saiyan.
Color of secret rares, yep.
I run the Pan Secret Rare. I just like the versatility of this card. It's just great in all matchups.
It's free as well, pretty much all the time with your board presence.
Yeah. I run the 1 Champa. Sometimes comes in useful and it's a must. Run 1 Fighting Against Fate.
Yep.
Because I run a decent number of board removals, I feel like the Marseillan isn't quite needed.
Sort of better for a best of 1, you reckon?
Yeah, so this deck is built for the best of 1 matchup with no sides. You'll see later, especially later on. But yeah, I didn't run Marseillan, didn't feel like I needed it. I preferred the extra boss monster. This won me quite a few games.
That with like a final flash is usually enough to kill people anyway, right?
Yeah. Koblalas, because Koblalas, I run 1 final flash. Originally I was running 2, but most of the time I only resolve 1 and it's usually dead in my hand.
Plus the threat of it. People don't really go in on yellow anymore with battle cards.
Yeah, so if they don't see it, they'll still assume that you have 1 in hand, so just 1 I feel is enough.
Same sort of thing as like brainwashed in black.
Yeah. My one-off for the best of 1 matchup, I put in 1 Vegeta Unison Fury. It's just a good meta card at the moment. Stops a lot of decks at the moment with their cheap boss monsters.
What are the main ones you're hitting with this?
So in red, it stalls out the 8-drop Goku.
Oh, yep, the new red UI deck.
Yep, so they can't play it. Against yellow, they can't really play the 8-drop Vegeta Trunks.
Yep.
It stalls them out.
And black, I'm guessing, is like all higher than their cost.
So this helps in the black matchup a lot. There was 1 game against Gogeta, stalled a few turns, which got me to the late game. I play 1 Frieza.
Ooh, this is an old card. What does this one do?
So this one is on play, you get to play about, your opponent reveals their hand and you get to play 1 card from their hand. So the good thing about this card is it can be played off of your Mecha Frieza for 2 energy, and it's a Frieza army. So what I normally do is I save this to late game when I'm ready to push or I feel like I'm going to run into Hachiak or Pan. So the turn before, I'll negate, play this on top, look at their hand. Usually I'll be taking out their Pans, their Hachiaks.
Because the effect won't trigger when they don't counter it, when they just play it from the hand, doesn't trigger? Yep.
And then play it, and then if I don't have another Frieza army, I can use my leader's effect to sack this off.
He's double strike as well, which is always nice for pressure.
Yep. Yeah, so you can always swing, they'll burn some cards off their hand, and then sack it, get 2 energy, draw 1.
Yeah, they're sort of relying on Pan, you rip that out of their hand, it's pretty much game over.
It's a really good card. I wouldn't run more than 1 though. In early games, the 2 energy is just too valuable. But it does come up sometimes. It's very helpful. Those were my one-offs. I run 3 of this Sun Gohan, Videl. So it's an activate main for 1 energy, 1 yellow. You discard this card and you draw 1, choose up to 2 cards, ignoring barrier, and minus 5k.
Yeah, so here's a lot of real problem cards.
Yeah, so I hit like Poutines. In black, they like to play the Vegetas and Gokus. Hit those.
Marseille as well.
Yeah. And in the yellow matchup, they would turn 1 plays to play the Trunks and Vegeta. You can actually use your 1 energy, kill those 2 off, and they stole 1 turn for their awakening.
And you draw cards, there's literally no neg to it.
So yeah, so my turn 1 play sometimes would be to play a 1-drop, use my leader's effect, we untap 1 energy, draw 1, and then play this, kill their Trunks and Vegeta. So, really good in current meta. Another meta call was to play 2 Marseille. If you don't know already, if your opponent plays any battle cards that's 15 or less using a non-keyword skill, they have to choose 2 and place it in the drop.
Yep.
There's also my Self-Awakener, that's why I only run 3 Roshis. So without this card, I probably would run 4 Roshis.
Yeah, and this hits stuff like Poutine in yellow. It's the new Trunks black deck, all their blockers when they spam them out turn 1, 2, 3. It's a lot of things like agents as well.
And the last card I played that not many people are running at the moment is the Bardock. So it's got double strike. When you combo this card for 2 energy, you play it at the end of the battle. You play it, draw 1, rest the card, and
Trigger your Poutine as well, which is nice.
Yep.
Early game.
So the reason I run this card was for a few reasons actually. So on my turn 2, turn 3, I often have energy that gets unused a lot. So sometimes turn 2, if the opponent doesn't pressure that much, I would actually use this with my 2 energy. It also triggers a lot of things on your opponent's turn, for especially that yellow matchup against Trunks. So on their turn, you play this, comes in rested, and on your turn, just untap, and then off you goes. Also on turn 3, if you don't see your Unison, or if you see your Unison but you don't have a Frieza army on board or Dispo in the drop, you can't really play your Unison. So this card's really good for that.
Good for killing other people's Unisons as well early game if they're annoying.
Yeah, so the double strike is very strong against Unison. At the moment, there's not many cards that can kill these efficiently.
Especially that early in the game.
Yeah, in the yellow matchup, I'll just play a bunch of these, and unless they play Turtleless, they can't really get rid of these.
If you were to go best of 3, is there anything you would change in the deck, or are you pretty happy with the ratios at the moment?
So I would probably put this down to 2, because sometimes I see it a bit too much, but it's a really good card. That's why I really want to run at 3.
Just that 10k combo power can be rough sometimes.
Yeah. But Marseille I would still keep in the main deck. It's just really good. Best of 1. Turn 1 as well. Just every deck at the moment.
Plus that Self-Awakening you were saying if you need it.
Yeah. I would probably put this to the side deck if it was best out of 3. Most of the time I don't really need this. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Sweet. Cheers to the deck profile. We'll chuck your website up on the link as well, so check that one out, guys. Cheers.